If you're finally ready to get rid of hyperflash and error codes on your 15 to 19 Chevy Silverado when upgrading your taillights, this video is for you. I understand that if you get something off of eBay or Amazon, it probably won't just work out of the box. So follow me, I'm going to show you guys how to make your turn signals, your brake lights, and the reverse light complete LED with no error codes or hyperflash. After testing multiple bulbs out there for the brake, which is actually the turn signal as well, we found that the carbide 2 bulb is the best option. That paired with two 6-ohm resistors from Morimoto. That allowed us not to have a hyper flash. The turn signal didn't just blink rapidly. It did what it was supposed to do straight from the factory, but now it's much brighter and much more effective. In the reverse light, we were able to put my favorite bulb in, the GTR Lighting Ultra Series Reverse Light. This is an extremely bright bulb, so much brighter than that dingy yellow looking bulb you had previously, and it was a plug and play. You didn't need any other resistors to make this bulb work. The reverse light bulb should be so much more than just letting other people know that you're backing up. It should also help you back up to trailers and see where you're going at nighttime in reverse. These bulbs definitely achieve that and more. Let's get to the install and show you how these go in and then how to mount the resistors. Now on to my favorite part, the install. First thing you gotta do is drop the tailgate. We're gonna start over here on the driver's side. Now using a T15 Torx bit, go ahead and start here on this bolt. We're gonna remove it. And do the same thing for the bottom screw. Now, full disclosure, if you've never changed your taillight bulbs, this is a pain in the butt, especially if you go on dirt roads. So what you're gonna do is just pull it towards you. I will admit, it's really, really hard. You can use a plastic pry tool if you need to on the backside, or if you've done this before, it should come loose. So grab here and start pulling it free, just like that. Since we've tested these bulbs before, that was much easier than the first time. Full disclosure, it's not that easy, but you can do it. Now what I'm gonna do is just undo this brake and turn signal bulb, remove it, undo the reverse light bulb, turning it counterclockwise, and pull it free. And your last brake one, counterclockwise, and pull. Now you can set this taillight off to the side. So I'm gonna do the easy one first. Right here in the middle is your reverse light bulb. Let's go ahead and pull it out. This right here is a T15 bulb. A T15 bulb is a little bit bigger than a T10 bulb, which means that it's not very bright at all. This right here is not going to allow you to see where you're going in reverse. Another benefit of just tossing this in the trash is that it's an incandescent bulb, which means that over time it's going to burn out. It's not going to last. You're going to have to do this anyways. The last thing you want to do is just replace it with something as terrible as this bulb. That's why we like to upgrade to LED. Now, if you order something off of Amazon or eBay, chances are it will not last as long as this incandescent bulb, which is really stupid. Why are you wasting money if you're just gonna buy it again in the future? So what I recommend, and I would recommend this on anything you possibly can put it in, this bulb right here, the GTR Lighting Ultra Series Reverse Light. I'm not just joking around, I'm not just blowing smoke. I've had this in every single vehicle, and I currently have it in both my vehicles. This bulb right here is wild. Just look at the wall. Before and after, it's like night and day, especially in person. So go ahead and take your bulb and push it in. If for some reason there's a lot of dirt inside this connector, it might be a little bit difficult, but trust me, it'll fit and it's snug, it's not going anywhere. So there you are, make sure you test it, and if it doesn't work for whatever reason, go ahead, take this connector out, flip it 180 degrees and put it back in. Some of these are polarity specific. Now, one thing you probably noticed that these bulbs right here, these incandescent bulbs, your brake lights, which are also your turn signal bulbs, they're actually still white or a dingy yellow, but they're white passing through a red lens. As you can see, your taillight right here has a red lens. And so what we like to do is choose a red LED bulb for this. If you get a white, it's still okay, you're gonna be fine, but it is not gonna look nearly as modern as a red bulb passing through a red lens. So just something to keep in mind. That's why we chose this one right here. This is a red carbide 2 bulb. The carbide 2 bulb is insanely bright, and that's why I choose it all the time. Let me put it in and show you something really quick though. Remember, it's a 7440, 7443. It's the exact same bulb for the top and the bottom, so it's really simple to get it right. Go ahead and push this in. Now I'm gonna test it one more time to show you what happens. All right, as you can see, Now it's hyper flashing. This is my favorite bulb, but carbide 2 is actually supposed to not have a hyper flash. It's supposed to have a resistor built in, but on these trucks, they're a pain in the butt, and they're going to hyper flash if you just slap them in here. That's the reason we're going to put a resistor, a load equalizing resistor. And because we've got 1, 2 bulbs, we have to put 2 resistors on. So go ahead, take this bulb out. If it's been on, it's hot, be careful. Replace it with another carbide 2 bulb. Once you're done with that, we're gonna get to the resistor mounting so these no longer blink really fast. So let's go ahead and install the resistors. What you're gonna do is follow the wiring all the way down here. We're going to install 2 resistors to the wiring right here, the brake and turn signal wiring and a ground. Let's go ahead and open this up. Now fish for the wiring through this wire loom here. I'm gonna pull it forward. Sorry if it's hard to see right now, I'll show you here. Rub some dirt off so you know what colors are which. Now most companies will just say, cool, now put your wiring here and call it a day. Well, that's a pain in the butt if you don't know what you're talking about. So right now I'm just gonna do it in real time for you guys. This right here is a wire stripper, not a wire cutter. So I'm gonna strip back the wiring so then I could test all of these wires with a voltmeter. So let's do this quick. Starting with this one right here, even though I already know it's ground, I'm just gonna pull it back a little bit, give us some room. Same with this one, pull it back a little bit. Expose the copper. You don't have to do as much as I did the first one. Now, if you noticed, I did not cut those wires. I just stripped them back a little bit so I can use this end and touch the copper wiring. Now, using a voltmeter is sometimes intimidating, and trust me, it's actually much easier than you might think. If you strip back that wiring without cutting it, just stripped it back to expose some of the copper, you can attach this side to the ground, and then you're gonna go ahead and find the brake or turn signal wiring. To do that, what I would recommend, instead of just hitting the blinker and looking for something that flashes, I would get a buddy, put him in the vehicle, and have him occasionally hit the brakes. This thing does not keep up with the turn signals. Sometimes they blink too fast, and this is just a bunch of numbers and it doesn't make any sense. So what you're looking for is when they hit the brakes, it gets power. When they release the brake, the power goes away. All right, so what did we learn there? We learned that the black wire obviously was the ground and that the darker green color was actually the brake and turn signal. It got power as soon as we hit the brake. So as you can see, it wasn't that difficult. Now what we're gonna do is put our load equalizing resistors right there on the black wire and that darker green wire. So the best part about the Morimoto resistor is it doesn't matter which wire goes to which. One is to the dark green, one is to the ground wire, the black wire. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our T-taps right here. We're gonna close it down on, let's say, the green wire. Where I strip back this wiring is actually where I'm gonna put this, just so we don't have any issues with it, corroding, anything like that. So squeeze the T-tap down onto that green wire first. Then we're gonna tighten it down with the pliers. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing on that black wire. Clamp this down. All right, now you can go ahead and connect the resistor. The resistor is super easy from here. We're gonna go ahead and actually just plug it in, just like this. Make sure it's in all the way. And do the same thing on the other one. All right, and now what we're gonna do is mount this on the inside of the vehicle. Now your first resistor is done. What we're gonna have to do is that same thing. So go ahead, grab another resistor, clamp it down on the green wire and the ground wire, and then connect the second resistor, and then let's go ahead and mount it on the inside of the vehicle. That's how we can get the brake and turn signal to work properly without all those hyper flashes. So let's get to it. Perfect. And we've got the second resistor on. So now go ahead and test it one more time. Make sure you tapped into the correct wiring, and then you can go ahead and slap it together. And just like that, they now work. They are no longer hyper flashing, which means they're not blinking quickly. Now, if you didn't want to do the carbide 2s for whatever reason, you sure as well could put a GTR Lighting iLED bulb in there, or an Armor Series bulb, which isn't quite as expensive, but it's also not quite as bright. This is what I would recommend in your vehicle, and I'm guaranteeing it will work because we just did it here straight for you guys today. Now before you button it all back up, let's go ahead and mount the resistors. Go grab a 1/8 size drill bit, just like this. I'm gonna drill 2 holes right here. Why? Because I'm gonna mount these resistors up in here, kind of like that. That's gonna keep them out of the way so you can put your taillight back into your truck. Now all you need is one screw per resistor. Use a Phillips screwdriver and tighten that down. The reason I pre-drilled that hole is because it's much easier to get this screw into the truck bed if you pre-drill the hole. You don't have to, but it's definitely recommended. Now before you put your taillight completely back into the housing, make sure you put some electrical tape over those bare wires that you strip back to do the testing. Last thing you want is to corrode them and for them to fail in the future. Now the fun part, let's go ahead and grab our taillight over here and put them back in. It goes right in the way you took them out. Install that brake light. Push it in, turn it clockwise to lock it in place. Grab that Ultra Series reverse light, and what we're gonna do with this one is we're actually gonna just push it and twist at the exact same time. You are gonna have to put some pressure on it. Grab that last bulb here, push it in, turn it clockwise, and now you can put your taillight back in. Now all you gotta do is put those 2 screws back in, do the exact same thing on the other side, and you're good to go. It is our mission at Headlight Revolution to take out the guesswork in the buying process when it comes to LED bulbs and LED housings. If you want to see what else we have for your Silverado, go to headlightrevolution.com and type in your year, make, and model. We are not done. We love testing different LED products. If you have something that you want us to test, post it in the link below. Also, be sure to check out the entire playlist when it comes to the Silverado on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.